I don't know what I'm doing.
I always worried about what I would do after I finished school. During my final year of high school, I knew that I would go to get a post-secondary education regardless of how useful it would be for me. Around the time my year was to graduate, the idea of post-secondary education not being a requirement had slowly started getting normalized. Now more than ever, it has been widely accepted that being successful doesn't depend on if you have a degree or not. I knew that I learned well in a dedicated learning environment, so I got into an animation school because it's something I wanted to do as a career. When I started college, I knew that I didn't have to worry about having to take on the full responsibilities of being an adult. I was fortunate enough to attend a school not far from home, not as expensive as other programs, and was approved for student loans. Compared to others, I didn't have the pressure to balance having a job and being a student to survive, giving me the freedom to just focus on my studies. Now that I graduated college, I have to be a fully functioning adult. Of course, that's how life goes. I'm not complaining about having to be an adult, rather the feeling like I'm failing at doing so, or at the very least, falling behind. Many young adults and adults are struggling to live like the previous generations. Everything costs way too much, and people are on the verge of everything falling apart. Online and in real life, I see so many people working very hard to stay afloat. As a homebody, I carry the feeling of heavy guilt of undeserved privilege. I can sleep late and sleep involuntarily without having to worry about getting up early for school or for work. I can do what I want in a day without having to worry about paying rent or groceries. At a certain point, I feel like extra weight for my parents. I do what I can to make their lives easier, but I would feel less guilty if I could financially support them. I am fully aware of how privileged I am to be living with supportive parents, and I'm grateful about it every day. I don't want to come off as ungrateful or out of touch. I feel frustrated because I'm not being smart about my time and privilege. Nothing in life has prepared me for growing up, and I don't think anything could have. Maybe more basic education on finances and the struggles of being an adult, but then again, maybe our teachers also don't have anything or everything figured out, just like me. I know I'm ambitious, and I want to be ambitious with my life, but I'm not brave enough to act on it. I feel as though there is no room for complaining because of the abundance of resources and advice on social media telling us that we can do what we set out to do. You just have to do it afraid, make mistakes. You have to start somewhere. It's frustrating because they're based on truth. Life is too short for you to hesitate and not try. If nothing comes from it, you lose nothing from it. But some advice feels contradictory. Do this to solve this issue. If you're doing this, you're ruining your life. Use this method to become successful. You're sabotaging your potential if you're using this method. There's too much information and not enough discernment. You would think with just the amount of resources we have about how to succeed in life, everyone would be successful in the more materialistic sense. Maybe people do feel as though they have succeeded. Success isn't measured by material possessions for everyone. Maybe my sense of success has been diluted by what social media has shown me. I don't think for or by myself. In a way, I feel like I have lost my sense of self. I need to figure out my idea of success when it comes to my life. Learn not to be scared of having an individual thought, though online culture has implemented such a deep fear of having opinions. Fear has such a powerful grip on me. The fear of not doing enough while trying to figure out how to live as an individual is a self-sabotaging mindset. I fear wasting time, the only currency of which we will never receive, only to spend. We are told to spend it wisely, but how does one spend it wisely when I overthink on what to spend it on? Ironically, I spend my time overthinking, causing an endless cycle of guilt and wasted potential. I have ambitions. I want to use my creativity and skill to work in the industry. I first got into studying animation because I wanted to create something enjoyable and foster an inspired community. After my studies, I realized that I find joy in storyboarding and character design. I've always had a passion for it ever since I discovered animatics and animated short films on YouTube. I would watch them for hours, imagining my grown self working and sharing my own animatics to the public. I always loved digging into the small genius details hidden in character designs to further sell the world and story built around them. There's such beauty and whimsy in adding small details that support the overall character to breathe them into life. I don't want to limit myself to just industry work. I have many things I would love to try out on the side. I would love to make designs or even create full models for VTubers, create small animatics for songs I enjoy, join art fight, sell merch, and create passion projects, just to use my love for art in any creative way I can. I know that choosing art as a career is bold, especially with the rise of AI. However, the scarcity and competitiveness of the animation industry can also be very overwhelming. There's always someone better than you, younger than you, or someone more experienced than you. Sometimes it feels like a losing battle. But those same people can also fuel your ambition. Whether you choose to treat other artists as fuel to your passionate flame is up to you. Landing a job in the industry is already difficult enough. Why let my imposter syndrome drag me down? I yearn to draw and dream unapologetically like I did when I was a kid, to have that drive to learn and be better as a person and as an artist. I could talk more about perfectionism, fear of failure, or FOMO. I could continuously ramble about my selfish worries, but it has to end somehow. And it's not the most productive way for me to use my time at home. There is no conclusion, solution, or resolution to this video. It's just another outlet for my thoughts. Just keep going, however you can. Eventually you'll end up somewhere. I don't know where, but while you keep moving, you'll learn to appreciate your changing environment. Whether it be a whole new scene, a slight change in lighting, or just a different perspective. Learn to enjoy the process.